Above the habitation door, you've got your 12-volt control panel. So in the far left-hand corner, you've got your battery selection. So you've got vehicle battery, or you've got leisure. You can view the levels by pressing the battery, and it'll show you vehicle battery, and then it'll show you leisure battery. But for this, we'll say leisure battery because we always want the motorhome to be using the leisure battery and never the vehicle battery. Otherwise, there is a chance you could flatten it, go to start the engine, and the engine won't start. Next to it, you do have your lights. So this is a master switch for the lights. Then they all are individually switched around the vehicle. You've got your water pump, so make sure you've got enough water on board, which you can see further along on the other buttons. And this is your pump, so this pressurizes the water for your taps, toilet, shower. Battery level indicator, and then you've got your fresh water. So it'll tell you on there how much fresh water you have on board. When the red light comes on, it indicates that the fresh water needs filled up. And when this light comes on, it indicates that the wastewater is full and needs to be emptied. So just above your rear travelling seats, you have two switches. So you've got Truma Ultra Heat on electric and Truma Ultra Store on gas. So starting off with the Ultra Store water. So you've got on the dial itself 30 to 70 degrees for your water. And then on the yaw is off, simply turn down to the gas flame, it'll go to green, and this will start heating your water on gas. Across from it, you've got your Ultra Heat on electric, so you've got off, and you do have 2000, which is 2 kilowatts of electric, 1 to 9, 9 being equivalent to 30 degrees. So this would be a thermostat. You've got 500 watts, which is half a kilowatt, or you've got 1000, which is 1 kilowatt. So depending on what the amperage the site gives you through your hooker bleed would depend on what you run on. But normally you just simply go up to 2000, which is 2 kilowatts of heating. So Ultra Heat, Ultra Store, gas for heating your water, electric for heating the vehicle. To heat the vehicle off gas, you'd use your gas fire. So on the right hand side, you've got 1 to 10 being your temperature, and you've got the spark igniter. So push it down, look in this view hole there, and you'll hear it light. Top tip, if you just keep the knob on the fire held down for 3 seconds after, it'll keep the thermocouple open, and then you'll have heat off the fire lit on gas. And you can see just in the bottom corner there, roughly, the gas flame. On the left hand side, you've got 1 to 5 being the fan speed. So off in the middle, which is this one here, it'll convect out the front of the fire. You've got A, which is automatic, so and then you choose your fan speed, and it'll blow around the various duct points of the vehicle, bathroom up here, and it'll spread the heat across the vehicle. And then when it hits that temperature, 10 being equivalent to 30 degrees, it will cut out and then cut back in when it drops. Or you can have it on the little line there, which is manual, so it'll keep going with the heat until you manually intervene and either turn it off or turn it down. So normally you would have a convector out the front of the fire if you're wild camping, and it'll save the 12 volt assisted fan because it'll not be taking a 12 volt feed from the leisure battery and wasting any power. And then A, you can have it on A or M when on site, and this will distribute the heat around the vehicle. But remember, hold this in as it will keep the thermocouple open and the gas will filter through on your gas fire. And of course you can have the gas and electric on together if you're away in the winter months to give the vehicle a boost of heat. By putting it both on, it'll reduce the time it takes to heat the vehicle. In the wardrobe you do have your, so lifting the panel starts with the panel up. This is your boiler, so it heats 10 litres of water as well as heats the vehicle on electric. So your fire does your gas side. It's very important in the winter that you drain off the boiler, because if the water in the boiler was to freeze, it'll damage it. So behind this pipe here you'll see a yellow toggle, and what that yellow toggle does is it drains the boiler off. So it's lying down now, so it's double jointed. When it lies down it's holding 10 litres of water. What you need to do is stand it up. The water will drain directly out of the chassis. Leave it stood up during the time you've got the vehicle in storage and not in use in the winter. This will stop the water from freezing. Once you've opened the boiler, you drain off the fresh tank, open the waste from outside, and then leave all the taps within the motorhome open, as well as the shower head. You'd remove that and lie the hose in the shower tray with the mixer tap open. This will stop any water coiling up in pipes behind furniture and wallboard, and it'll allow the air to not sit in the pipes and cause an airlock. Then when you're ready to use it, you shut your boiler, put your plug in your fresh water, shut your waste, shut all your taps, make your shower head back up, fill the vehicle with fresh water, come in, put the control panel on and put the pump on. Go to the cold side of the tap first, you'll get a pressurised cold water feed straight away. Go to the hot side, it'll cough, splutter, make all sorts of noises until you get a free flow of water from the hot side of one tap. You would do them all, and this is when your system would be primed on the hot side of the tap. So from then on, when you open the hot side of the tap, you'll get pressurised water. Putting the cover down, you do have your trips on mains electric. You've got your fuses on 12 volt. You've got your water heater on electric, so you can turn that on and off depending on if you have enough water in the tank. It's just a fuse spur. And you've got your space heater, which is on electric, so this must be on to use the dial on the other side of here for the electric heating of the vehicle. And above you've got a TV aerial, so you can turn this on. I would just leave it on myself and then it'll go off with the control panel, and this is just your amplifier for your TV aerial. Underneath the dinette seat behind the driver's seat is the location of your freshwater tank. So this holds your fresh water. In the winter it's very important that you drain it down. So to drain it down, especially in the winter, because you wouldn't want the water to freeze, but if you're not using the vehicle for a while, you've taken on a source of contaminated water, you'd obviously want to drain the tank off. And to drain the tank off, red little plug on a chain there, you just pull that out and that will drain off all the water out of the freshwater tank and leave it dry. It's very important in the winter that you do it because you don't want this tank to split. As it's on the vehicle and not underneath the vehicle on this model, if it did split it would flood your vehicle and cause a lot of damage, so make sure that you drain the vehicle down fully in the winter. So in your lounge, to make your double bed up from the double dinette, what you need to do is slide the lats out all the way to there, and there's two stoppers. You just need to lift the furniture board onto the other side of the stoppers and then turn the turnbuckles, slide these out. This is in the wardrobe, so you'd pop that in here. Then you'd use the backrest from your long bench seat, which you can use as a single if you wanted to. Pop that on and then you just push the boards on the side back in to hold that cushion comfortably. Pop that in. And there you have a double bed, and you can use this side as a single should you wish, and you can kind of sleep five people at a push in this vehicle. Location of your leisure battery: if you lift this hatch in the floor, your leisure battery lives there. So you do have a 90 amp hour leisure battery from Umax Leisure, with the main battery fuse just lying down here. So if you ever need to change your leisure battery, or you want to remove it to charge it at home, you just need to lift this clamp off, lift the terminals off, and you can remove the leisure battery. In the washroom area, to operate your toilet, ensuring that the pump's on, you'll be able to press the blue button, which will give you a fresh water flush. Like so. So it's flushing from the fresh water. So you'd always flush first, which lubricates the seal between the blade and the toilet and keeps the blade clean. So flush first, then slide this grey lever to the right, which opens the blade and everything will go into the cassette. Then flush after use and slide it back to the left. If you ever struggle to get the cassette out of the vehicle, you've probably left this open, so always get into a habit of doing it in this order and making sure that after you've finished using the toilet, you shut the cassette back to the left. If you are wanting to use the pink solution, what I would do is dilute it into a spray bottle, spray the bowl before you flush. As on a caravan you've got a header tank, on motorhomes it's drawn from the freshwater tank. When the cassette is full, you'll get a light here on the person emptying the cassette, telling you that the cassette is full and needs to be emptied and topped up with chemical. Your bathroom light, which is then controlled via this switch, but you can turn the light off on its own. Turn the turnbuckles, you can turn this, put this back here, and then put the shower screen, which is on the door. It's got two little tie backs. And that'll stop the toilet from getting wet. And you can have a shower in a separate cubicle. And remember, if you pull this out, it acts as your sink tap as well as your shower head. Remove your shower head in the winter months to stop any water from sitting in that pipe behind this panel, and leave the mixer tap open in the middle position. When travelling, always make sure that's securely fastened back. Same with this on the door. And then you do have a skylight that you can open like so, or you can put one side down or front and back down depending on which way the wind's blowing. You can direct this to be shut however you want, but always make sure it's securely fastened and pulled in before you start travelling, like any other skylights and windows. In the kitchen area you've got 3 gas rings, 1 electric. And the electric one's on the far left hand side, and this only works when hooked up on mains to 40 volts. It's not a 12 volt hot plate. And then below you've got your grill, and below your grill you do have your oven. And if you just hold it in like the heater, so so it allows the thermocouple to get warm and let the gas through. It will then stay lit. You may want to take your grill pan and oven shelf out when travelling, as this can be the main cause of vibration and rattling on the road. Underneath you've got some storage, you've got some gas taps in here as well as where the boiler is, which isolates the kitchen appliances. But any problems with gas, to be safe, I'd always turn the bottle off. Slide out cutlery tray and slide out storage racks. Storage in here. You've got a plug there, so I think you could probably put a microwave in here. And then you've got your cups, racks, and your bowl and your plate racks there for storing your crockery when travelling, and some handy storage to the side. Your little lights are individually switched. And then once you've had the hob on, allow it to cool before you put the cooker hood down. And you do have a fly screen and a blackout blind. Below you've got your Dometic style fridge. So off on the top, 230 volt is mains electric. It'll act as a household fridge, so if you are pre-chilling the fridge at home before you put your shopping in, you'd use 230 volt. If you are on site, you've paid your site fees, you'll not want to waste your gas, so you would use 230 volt. If you were wanting to use gas, turn down to the very bottom one, which says gas. Then you would use your this is your temperature, so you can change your temperature, but what you do is you push that in and the spark ignite at the same time. And what happens is this orange band would then go into the green. And once it goes into the green, the fridge is then lit on gas. And if you are on site and you are travelling from site to site or home from site, to keep the fridge at the same temperature, you do have a 12 volt source. So that's the middle one between the 230 and the gas. And that is a feed from the engine alternator, which will turn the fridge into a cool box. So it's got to be pre-chilled beforehand, and it'll keep everything nice and fresh till you either go back on 230 volt or gas. Got a freezer box. And then when you aren't using the vehicle, it's very important that you empty the fridge, you give it a clean out with some anti-bac, some wipes, as you would at home. And then you've got a travel lock here, so if you lock it and rest the door up against it, it allows the door to stay open, and it'll allow air circulation in and out the fridge to stop the mold and bacteria from growing. Otherwise, with the travel lock, you'd shut it and lock it, and that'll keep the door locked when you're traveling, so it won't unexpectedly open when you're on the road. Above the cab you do have a double bed, so that pushes up on gas struts, so you can gain access to the cab more easily, so you're not banging your head. But you do have a net which clips on to these straps here on both sides, the black straps. If you were putting children up there, put a light, and then the ladder would clip onto here, and you do have an opening window with fly screen and blackout blind. In the cab to the right of the driver you do have your handbrake, and then to lock the doors you just push these down, and then you can pull them up, or you can go for the handle and they'll open back up, and that would be the passenger and driver's door. So you just push one down and they should both lock, especially on the driver's side. And then you've got your driver and passenger electric windows and your mirror adjustments. So you've got two mirrors to adjust electronically through here. So you've got the top and the bottom. Got your headlight adjustment, obviously your wipers and your indicators and lights. 5-speed manual gearbox with lift into reverse, brings on reverse. But but you've got a rear view camera, so it's on permanently, so you can see the back of the vehicle, you can see your bike rack on the back. 12 volt points, handy storage tray. You've got your fan speed, your temperature, your distribution, and whether you're recirculating air within the vehicle or you're bringing fresh air in. You can just change this. The storage bin here as well. Heated mirrors, hazards and rear fog lights. FM, AM and CD radio. You can press 1 to 6 to save your favourite channels once you've searched for them. Lockable glove box. This in here is your toolkit, which is wrapped in a felt cover. And then to black your windscreen out, you can lift this up. You will have to adjust this ever so slightly because it's got to come over the camera, so if you just adjust the camera or take the camera off, even better. Just that down, and then you should be able to slide that up over the top like so, and just leave your rear view camera hanging until you clip it back onto the mirror. But you do have curtains as well which go around the cab, so you don't really need to use this, but you may want to. And then as this is fitted with a Sigma alarm system slash immobilizer, to start the vehicle there's a routine of starting it. You've got to put the ignition on, press the button on the black keyring, turn it off, dip the clutch, and then the vehicle will start.